The process of this started with me talking to a friend of mine, Mark Muller, who's a wonderful songwriter in Los Angeles, about wanting to create a show, and I didn't really know what it was, but I wanted it to be something I could do, i.e. something with a bit of music maybe, not a cabaret because I'm not a specialist in that field and there are many people who do that better than me, but I'm an actor who sings, so that's different. Anyway, cut a long story short, he and I got together and started thrashing about what this might be. And I think I was telling him a story one day and I said something like, and then I thought to myself, how the hell did I get here? Now that is something most of us have said at least once in our lives, maybe many times. And we both said, that sounds like the title, doesn't it? Because we want this to be a show that people watch, although it's technically my story, we do want people to be inspired to think about how they got there themselves. That's the point of it. And so that's why the title was that. And once we started working on it, I was hoping he might write me a song, and in the end he's written me 10. And they're amazing. They're all brand new. They all fit in exactly where we are in the story. They sort of illuminate where we are in the story. And a couple of them are killer funny, and a couple of them are a bit weepy. So I got very lucky with having him on board, because he's a fantastic writer. I've never done a one-person anything. I mean, I do have Mark on stage. That's the other brilliant thing. He loves this show so much. He's so invested. He was never going to walk away from it. He's playing every single show. He's going to come on the road with me, which is fantastic. So I'm not completely on my own, but I am, of course, in charge, driving the bus solo. I was very frightened. I spoke to numerous people who've done one-person shows back in England, numerous, begging them to tell me that it wasn't terrifying, and none of them would. They all went, oh no, it's terrifying. It's absolutely, you'll never do anything so terrifying. But now I've done it for 3 weeks in Chicago. I think we now have gone to another stage where the bit before I come on, not my favourite time, I'll be honest. It really isn't. But once I'm on stage and once we kick off, that's it, we're going. And there's no room for self-doubt or anything else. And I'm involved with the audience at that point. I'm building a relationship with them, and that's what this show is supposed to be. Once we start, it's great. But the bit before can be a little bit alarming, but it's got easier. This show is 1 hour and 20 minutes without an intermission. And it goes at a fair old lick. So I think that's probably, I wouldn't want it to be a second longer than that. I think it's about the right time. You get a good old, you get value for money, but it's not too long to sit. This is my first attempt at writing anything, and actually it's kind of thrilling for me because I didn't know what I'd never written, so I didn't know whether I could or I couldn't. But what started happening with Mark was he would present a song, and then there would be lyrics that didn't quite resonate with me, and I'd say, I wouldn't say that, Mark, because I'm proud to say every single word of this show, every single word is true. And I think that's important, because people will know I'm not BSing anybody. This is straight, honest stuff. And I think people sense that. So I would say to him, that's not something I would say, maybe because it was American and I'm not. So he would say, he was very, very generous, and he would say, okay, well, do you want to come up with something yourself? And I'd say, yeah, or he would come up with something else. So along the way, he used to say to me, I'd tell him a story, he'd say, well, that's a song. And as we went on and on, I started saying, well, I think that's a song, don't you? And he'd say, you're catching up, you are becoming a writer. And at the end of it, he said, I think you're becoming a writer. So, which is really thrilling for me, because I don't know if I would be able to do it on my own, but I really am fascinated now about the process of writing, because I've never done it before. We launched this show in its current state, which is as a proper full theatrical production, a few weeks ago in Chicago. That was the first time we'd ever done it. We'd had a little bit of a kind of tryout in England, very basic and not the same material. Those were just to give us a clue as to see if we were on the right lines. But this is a proper production, and it started here. So we haven't done it in England in this form at all. No. Yes, we're at the McKittrick Hotel till May the 8th. And we don't know if that might be extended. We shall see. But definitely till May the 8th, and we're definitely in San Francisco June, and we're in Pittsburgh July. And if you go to howthehellmusical.com, You can buy tickets, but you can also see the schedule, I imagine, to see what the actual dates of performances are. We're offering a package where you can buy a ticket and get your high tea as well, which sounds like a pretty nice combination, to be honest. So not everybody does that, but I think it's an option, and I think it sounds like it makes it more of a celebration, doesn't it? I think that's a great idea.